This could be an overview of our asset pipeline that we use for Ludum Dare 32. It'll show how you take an asset that you've created, change it into a dope sheet, and import that into Unity. Okay, I've made this wonderful snowman in paint.net. Every part is on a different layer so I can easily move things around. The first thing you want to do before exporting is to save it. And let me show you where I've saved it. Here's my Unity project folder. I've created another folder outside of the project called external assets, and I've saved it in there. It would be within source control. Just the idea is that you're always able to get back to your original project, PDN in this case, so that you don't lose anything when you export. So after that's saved, let me show you what I can do. So since I put everything in a different layer, I can actually move things individually, and I'll begin moving things. Okay, so I've moved everything around. What we're doing is we're exporting it to what we're calling a dope sheet, which means that the various parts which will be animatable are all dragged to different areas where you could put a circle or a rectangle around them, just hitting the top, left, bottom, and rightmost pixels, and make sure that those rectangles don't overlap, because that's exactly what Unity will be doing to import them. If you have any stray pixels, it's going to pick those up, so make sure you don't have any. So these are all good except these arms. See how I can't draw a rectangle here around the arm without this other arm being in that rectangle? That's not going to work. So I'm going to move one of those arms. There. Perfect. You can use as big of a sheet as you want pretty much. Just keep everything spread out a little bit. So I'm going to save my source. The reason I'm saving my source here is because we really need to preserve these coordinates. If we make updates to this picture, Unity's importer will still have the same settings. It's really up to the artist how they want to do that. We just have to make sure that we try to maintain this exact export image as best possible. Maybe make another layer that shows you where to center them, something like that. So I'm going to save as ping, and I'm going to save it to our Unity asset folder. So this snowman dope sheet is going to go into our Unity project assets art. I'm going to save it there, and I'm going to flatten it. So now I'm in our Unity project, and I'm going to show you how to import that dope sheet. So I'm going to go to art, and there it is. Now right now, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting it here in our project assets window. In our inspector, I see that it is set to sprite mode single. What that means is that when I try to use it as a sprite, it thinks it's all one big picture. Instead, we want to set it to multiple sprite mode, and then we can use the sprite editor to separate them. So, oh yeah, great, there we go. All right, what I'm going to do is use the slice menu, and I'm going to use automatic, and hopefully that'll get everything. And it looks like it did. It did choose both of the eyes to be separate, but that's okay. We can work with that. So what I'm going to do is click on each of these, and I'm going to set some things. I'm going to set its name, snowman dope sheet bottom, and then I'm going to take this little circle in the middle. That is its pivot, its origin. So if I were to rotate this circle, it would rotate around where this little blue circle is. And easier. So let's say I put it up here and rotate it, I could kind of make it wobble back and forth. Whereas if I put it in the center and rotate it, you wouldn't see anything. So that's really up to the animator. Generally, you want to have everything pivot kind of towards the center of the body. The head definitely would pivot at the neck, for instance. The hat would probably pivot, kind of toward the center or so. Anyway, once you're done with that, you hit apply, and that actually saves them out as sprites, which are now accessible. Those are the eyes. And now we can attach those to game objects. So I'm going to drag this thing up. I'm going to try to find the middle. Oh, yes. And in the scene editor, we can move them and reposition them. And make our character. So that's how it works. It's just kind of importing things in a way where you can reconstruct them in Unity. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully this was informative.